So now that you decided to create a course, the biggest issue, the biggest problem, and the biggest question that arises usually for the new instructors is, okay, what do I create the course about? And usually a lot of different instructors and a lot of different people will give you a lot of different answers on how to choose a good course topic. And usually it revolves around how much it is on demand, about the numbers, about the money made per course. And I do not agree with those people, even though they're somehow right, but yeah, not entirely. So the question is this: should you focus on the numbers? By the way, sorry for my awful handwriting. Should you focus on numbers? Should you focus on your expertise? Or should you focus on the demand? Again, sorry for my awful handwriting. So the numbers. The numbers are an actual analytics information on how the courses are actually performing, meaning that how many students want them, how many courses there are, what type of keywords they are using, etc., etc. The all kind of different numbers that Udemy is actually giving to you. Should you focus on that, or should you focus on your expertise? Your expertise is basically, these are the topics that you yourself know and can create the courses about. Or should you focus the last thing but not least, and it is a demand, meaning that what people are actually looking for. When you go through a YouTube videos, even my own YouTube videos, sometimes you might think that the most important one is this one, the numbers. That's what you should be focusing on. But the reality is that it's actually not. The numbers is not the most important metric. Even though they are important in understanding how your courses will perform, they're not an indicator of how good your courses will actually be. And that's what you should be actually focusing on. How good your courses are and how helpful they are for your students. And here where your expertise comes, because usually you can create the best courses in the topics that you know the best. So that's where your expertise comes into play. So in reality is that your expertise is actually more than your numbers, and that's what you should be focusing on. And last but not least is of course demand. Demand is basically what students actually want, what people are actually looking for, and whether there are actually a lot of courses about that or not. And demand is actually very important for you to succeed, because if there are not a lot of courses and you can create a course about that, yes, it will be great for you in a short run possibly, but in a long run in creating a good, lasting impression as a good course creator. Will it be that impressive? Will it be that good? I think not. And here, expertise wins over demand. And overall, the question is to what courses you should create about, and overall answer is what type of courses you should create, or what are the topics that you should create the courses about. It all goes down to your expertise, and the answer is the topics you know a lot. Basically, the topics that you can create very comprehensive and very helpful course. Now, what does this even mean? How this helps you actually to choose the topic of the course? Well, it actually helps you a lot, and it helps you much more than numbers and the demand. You see, in numbers, you can go and search and find a bunch of different courses which are very beneficial number-wise, meaning that they have low number of courses, high student demand, highest income that we're going to talk about in the future lecture. Don't worry, where I will tell you where you can get those numbers from. Or for the demand, you can find the courses where there are not a lot of courses that people are looking for, and you can create this course and you can create the courses about. But if you're not expert in this, and if you don't understand the topic well enough, it doesn't really matter. What really matters is your expertise. And if you are expert in a topic, if you know the topic well enough, and if you can create very engaging and helpful course, that is a topic that you should choose. So basically, these are the topics that you are expert in. So what does it mean? Are you good at development? Can you create a good Python course? Meaning that, can you explain Python well enough to people? Then well, go ahead and create a Python. By all metrics, and we're gonna go through this in a future lecture, Python is an awful topic to create a course in because it is incredibly, and I repeat, incredibly highly competitive course. Even though you can make hundreds of thousands of dollars and the top courses are making for, the chance that you will be one of such courses is so slim that, trust me, there is even no point trying to go for it. But if you know this topic well, and if you are expert in Python, why wouldn't you do that? See, it's not about the numbers, it's all about the course and topic that you understand well. If you can explain the topic better than the top courses can, or at least on par to them, then you are immediately better than half of all the courses. And it is hundreds of courses. And if you can market your courses well enough, and not rely purely on Udemy for these highly demanding and highly competitive courses, then you have high chance to succeed. And all starts with your expertise. But there's another question. What if you are not expert anything? What if you are not the top dog and you cannot create the best of the best courses in, well, any topic? Does it mean that Udemy is not for you? Well, many instructors will tell you that yes, Udemy will not be for you, but I'm telling no. Because what majority of instructors do not understand is that Udemy is not about what you know as an instructor. It's about what you can teach as an instructor. Let me explain. Now, here we have two very important sides of a Udemy instructor. It is knowledge, basically what an instructor knows, and it is a presentation skills, basically what instructor, how instructor can actually teach. Now, which one is more important? Well, they're both very important. They're both extremely valuable and extremely useful, and they are both what students will be looking for and what will be paying for. One thing is actually a little bit more important than another. Can you guess which one? Well, of course I will tell you. And it is presentation. The presentation is actually slightly more important than your knowledge as an instructor. Do you know why? Because you can be the most competent individual in the topic and know the topic the best you can, or best anyone can. Yet if you're very bad at presentation, it will not matter. Your course will be bad. Students don't care what you have in your head. They care what you can teach them. Basically, they care how you can take this knowledge and put it in their heads. That's what they're paying for. Not for your knowledge, but for your ability to convey this knowledge. Doesn't make any sense? I think it does. And let's go to the vice versa. What if an instructor knows very little about the topic, but is extremely great at presentation, creates an amazing course, beautiful slides, beautiful text, talks amazingly, and understands how to convey any type of knowledge he has, no matter how little he has it? See, that course will perform much better than the first one. So the reality is that presentation skills is far more important than knowledge. Don't get me wrong though, knowledge is extremely important. It is important. Doesn't mean that you can create the courses about topics that you have no idea about. If you are an extremely good presenter, it might work for you, but you should not test this type of extremities. What does all this mean? It means that if you can understand topic well enough, you can teach everything about that well as well. Well, there are a lot of wells, but still, can create course about that topic. As an example, if you are beginner at development and you're beginner at Python, let's go back. Let's still go back to the Python. It's still a bad example, but still, let's go back to Python. You know a beginner level Python. Basically, you can create a few lines of code. You can create a very small apps, very rudimentary things. But you are extremely good at presenting it. You are extremely good at creating very engaging lectures. You're extremely great at creating good videos. Should you create a course about Python? Basically, you will create a Python for beginners. That's it. You'll teach everything that you know, everything, and that will be more than enough for a course to sell. Now, another question will rise, what if I'm a bad presenter? Well, you see, the presentation skills can actually be taught, and presentation skills can actually be improved. The skills that I have right now did not come from my mother's womb, basically. I was not born with this. I trained for it. I sat down in front of camera. There's no one in the room. I sat down in front of the camera and I talked, and then I watched it and I corrected the mistakes that I didn't like. Then I talked again and again and again and again and again and again and again until I recorded hundreds of hours of content, upload them on YouTube, or on Udemy, or on any other platforms, and my presentation skills actually improved. So it can be taught, unlike a bunch of different skills. You can create a course about Python, you can create a course about PowerPoint. Yeah, this the two things that you learn, but you cannot learn thousands of different skills. But presentation skill is the one skill that you need to learn in order to succeed as an instructor, or basically in order to succeed in anything. That thing can actually be taught. While hundreds of topics or dozens of topics to create courses about, so that's what you should focus on. So overall answer is this about that is that if you're not expert in any topic, train your presentation skills, or just go on and create the course and see what feedback will be, and watch it yourself, and then improve and change the lectures. And you can actually change the video lectures for Udemy. Don't worry about that. We're gonna go through this in one of the future lectures. So yeah, do it regardless, even if you have a little understanding of the topic. Just create a course for the beginners. Teach what you know. Probably for someone it will be far more than they themselves do. So overall answer is this: focus on the topics that you know the most about. Create the courses about the things that you know the most about. And don't worry, in the future lecture we're gonna check all the numbers. And if you don't know things that you are expert in, or if you don't build yourself as you're expert in, create the course regardless, and train your presentation skills to improve the quality of the course even higher, no matter what type of knowledge you possess. So in the next lectures, we're going to cover actually marketplace insights, and we're going to cover some numbers. So yeah, I'm going to see you in the next lecture. See you there.